In this video, let's talk about the ban list implications for the April 2024 TCG ban list. We had some absolutely crazy and surprising hits to Baronne and Borreload Savage Dragon, Linkuriboh being banned, but more importantly, cards like Protos being limited is already being bought out. The same with Thunder Dragon, Colossus, and Nemesis Corridor. So let's get into the ban list, guys. Let's discuss the cards you need to get, what you should be wary of, and the implications for the future format. Legacy of Destruction is just around the corner, and as we know, ban lists are used to sell products. Of course, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. We're going to be pumping out a lot of Legacy of Destruction content for you guys, so stay tuned and let's get into the video. Let's discuss the implications of the Forbidden list first. Baronne and Savage Dragon are honestly very huge meta shifts. You could say the format, the fast Omni Negate format, is going backwards, and we basically don't have that anymore. I feel like these two cards represented something that was the be-all, end-all for many rogue decks and casual audiences. With these cards now banned, it means every deck has a chance going second now, in my opinion, and you are more rewarded for playing unique strategies. Because Nibiru is not even contested anymore, it means it is actually looming over the field at all times. If a rogue deck can get Baron out on the 5th summon to beat Nibiru, I feel like that's a good baseline for a rogue deck, but Baron is banned, guys, so that is a huge implication, and I'm curious what's going to happen to rogue decks going forward. Will we turbo Appaloosa? It's not as easy as you think. I want to also get your thoughts on Rarity Collection reprinting Borreload Savage Dragon and Baronne and Summon Limit as QCRs. These are cards that, you know, casual audiences, players who are looking to pick up cards one card at a time, are, you know, looking forward to getting the Baronne and Savage Dragons and finding out it's now banned. But now I feel like the confidence of the players is low, and if anything, Rarity Collection could be a sign of what's to get banned next. Will Appaloosa get banned next? We'll have to wait and see. Baronne and Borreload Savage Dragon are also big hits to the pure Snake Eyes deck. Will Formula Synchron still be played? Will Jest Synchron still be played? But more importantly, then again, Legacy of Destruction is releasing soon. I do think they're trying to push the pure Snake Eye strategy, and this time when I say pure, I mean the actual Snake Eye Diabelze style back row cards. Do you honestly expect Legacy of Destruction to have any big impact on Snake Eye? Is pure Snake Eye dead? Is Snake Eye Tenpai going to be the next adaptation for the pure Snake Eye deck? We'll have to wait and see. Viking Snake Eye is officially the best deck, and so I'm very curious why a card like Kieran was not hit. It just pushes the Viking Snake Eye strategy way more. I also think with cards like Baron and the Borreload Savage Dragon affected and banned, it means decks like Tenpai coming out in Legacy of Destruction are also going to have a great time thriving in the next format. You know, Linkuriboh is also banned, so that does mean Anima is a card that will come back. But then again, Anima's Link Arrow goes to the opponent and not yours. Also shuts down the Parallel Exceed special summon into Banshee, for example, leading me straight into the next topic, which is Arch Nemesis Protos in the limited list. So I don't think anyone was expecting this, and because of that, the card is already being bought out. So is Nemesis Flag, so is Banshee. It also makes sense why Linkuriboh was banned. It just shuts down that Banshee Parallel Exceed play into Protos. Now, in a format where Protos is available now, Bonfire is available, can search Nemesis Flag, which can find your Nemesis Protos to bring back a card where the format is literally a fire format. If you call fire, you win the game. Protos can turn Protos into a fire type. You see my point, guys, why it's really actually quite toxic that Protos is back in the game, and because of how easily searchable it is with the new Bonfire card, it doesn't make sense in my opinion why Konami did release this, but currently that is the format right now. I have a hot take though. I do think, will we see Protos, the Protos engine, be a side deck option, and will it take over the meta? Can we actually see Protos being used in such a way that actually means hand traps must be played to beat the Protos engine? Then again, fire players need fire follow-up like Princess and Amblowell, so it's very interesting. I feel like there's got a lot of ripple effects happening right now in the meta game. People are trying to figure out what is the best end board, and also just ways to play with Protos. Will we see Protos be reprinted in Rarity Collection? Will we see Protos come out in the OTS tournament pack? Because this card is already getting bought out, and I do think this card could have the potential to completely warp and polarize the meta game. For now, I definitely think Protos is a card you need to get. So I want to know your thoughts as well about that. Do you think hand traps are going to be so popular and so necessary? Are players literally going to keep their imps in their hand for the Protos engine, expecting it, maybe post-siding? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments down below. I do think Thunder Dragon Colossus is another card we should discuss, whether it means a decks like Manadian, for example, Drytron. These are just some examples of decks that have to search from the main deck. Colossus only affecting the opponent is super selfish, so that also means will decks that can use the Nemesis Corridor maybe Sprite uses Thunder Monsters, Sprite sprinters a Thunder Monster. Are we going to see something huge happen where Thunder Dragon Colossus is also being played? I think it's a card that a lot of people were saying to come back. Let's also cover Fire King Snake Eye and how there were no hits, yet Tenpai Dragon is releasing soon in Legacy of Destruction. Maybe Konami is getting us ready for a Tenpai, the Fire King Snake Eye show match. Not having to care about Omni Negates, they can pretty much do whatever they want in the main phase 1 now, such as activating the field spell. Simply activating it is enough to secure that OTK because your dragons are unaffected in the main phase 1. And we are obviously seeing a backward change into the meta where things aren't going to be ended in one turn anymore because of Omni Negates, and players will actually have a chance to activate things. And I do think going second cards, again, coincidence of Tenpai coming out soon, I do think going second cards are going to get the spotlight now. Change of Heart, Ultimate Slayer, these are cards that can also counter fire decks and the fire setup quite well by shuffling their fire monsters into the extra deck. Summon Limit being banned is literally one of the best things ever. I feel like when a card is being used in every deck in the meta game, especially the decks that actually lose to it themselves, that is a sign that it has to go. And I think we can all agree it was a very toxic floodgate. I did a poll on my channel as well about Summon Limit, and you guys seem to have some thoughts about whether it should stay at 3. Tidal Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls is actually the most powerful Dragon Ruler. It can send a card from your deck to the graveyard. If you didn't think that was a big deal before, because tournament exists in the game, I definitely think this card has huge implications. I do think Tidal is going to be the most played and most contested Dragon Ruler. Now, this card going to 1 could also be seen as it being banned. Will players be running a one-of anti-spell fragrance card that cannot be searched when they're also pushing Diabelze, which actually kind of does the exact same thing to level 7. It's an illusion monster, which they're also pushing with the Whitewoods archetype. I do think illusion is something every player should be looking at right now, and I do think Diabelze is a card every player should be considering, and I do think they are introducing a new wave of power creep, and they're getting rid of old power cards like anti-spell, like Summon Limit, like the Baronne Savage boards, to introduce new power creeps like Diabelze. For my Pendulum players, we are loving this news about Kirin finally going back to 1. Now, the Majespecter Link Monster will lock you into Majespecters. Kirin did dominate a format. It can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. It's a non-targeting bounce. I think this card is a huge change, and I can see Majespecter actually taking over Rogue. Will we see more players pick up the Majespecter strategy? Will we see some very strange engine of Majespecter being played in other decks? I do think Pendulum is in a way better spot than it used to be. Delicious coming back to 2, and Plump being the best Purrely Exceed monster also kind of turbos Exploring Noir even more than it used to. I can see Purrely being even stronger in the future meta games. They don't play into Nibiru, and they can play Shifter, which beats Snake Eye decks. So I love the changes that's happening with Purrely. Now, Malicious going to 3 is a huge change for heroes. Hero players have always asked for Malicious at 3. Now, this is a huge consistency boost to decks that play Malicious, like Tournament. With all the other decks in the game losing Omni Negates, I feel like Hero is on a even more playing field to the rest of the metagame. So that's very exciting. A good day to be a hero player for sure. And lastly, with the change to Orcus Harper from 1 to 3, which I want to just say is a very strange hit and not something we used to. Not used to Konami doing this with Armageddonite going to 2. Orcus is way more consistent, and I do think with the recent focus on Horus and Chaos decks, I am so excited to see what Orcus is capable of. Orcus Runic was a strategy in the past. I can see this coming back as well. And lastly, let's quickly shout out the archetypes that did not get touched on the ban list, like Branded, like Voiceless Voice. Unchained Shavara is still at 1. Rescuer's Airlifter is still at 1. What do you think about these decks that did not get affected? We've also got Yubel in the mix as well with the new Legacy of Destruction support, the only deck that can actually counter Tenpai. And with Tenpai now taking a Circuit Breaker's level 7 Synchro, it is a clear sign that Tenpai cannot deal with Yubel. So I love this interaction that's happening with the future metagame very soon. That being said, guys, let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below. We've just broken down some cards you need to get, the cards you probably should be wary of. We've also broken down what we can expect for the future metagame implications. Legacy of Destruction is super close to releasing, and I think it's going to have even more of an impact than it did before. We're going to see so many new fresh strategies coming back into the metagame. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to be covering the cards you need to get in Legacy of Destruction. And that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.